to Galatia. For prosperity, Galatia is ready to address the assembled Fellowship of Noah. The Fellowship of Noah is being accounted for. It is time this assembly was called to order. Rampos will be presiding over the meeting, and if you would be so kind as to inform him of your readiness to proceed. Welcome back, Violet. I have been reading about your encounter in the Labyrinth of the Ancients. It pleased me greatly to note that you seem none the worse for the experience. For your reference, I've added my own notes to Gratia's preliminary expedition report and began compiling a Crystal Tower survey log. The information contained therein will be available to you at all times. Should you have any questions, you need only ask. If there are any objections, I shall begin with the summary of the expedition key accomplishments. Let's go with this one. In the course of this, our first foray into the grounds of the Crystal Tower, we succeeded in neutralizing the structure's outer defences, before proceeding to secure the maze surrounding the base of the spire. According to Violet's account, the labyrinth defences were most apparently active. Disturbingly, her report also mentions a violent encounter with a sentry heavily augmented with elegant technology. In short, our misgivings were all well-founded. The Crystal Tower was not simply thrust upon the ground by a chaotic shifting of earth. It was somehow being reawoken. If, as seems increasingly likely, the tower's secrets should prove too dangerous to share with the world, we will have no choice but to contain them, short of levelling the place. This will almost certainly involve returning its mechanisms to a state of dormancy. To do that, however, we must first need to address the question of how they work, the answer to which must surely be waiting for us inside the tower itself. In conclusion, that is where we must go. A task rather easier said than done, if the perils of the labyrinth are any indication. Then I move that all further exploration of the tower is be delayed until such time as the exclusive analysis of the structure defences have been completed. Master Garland, may I have entrusted you with this task to you? It would be my pleasure. Don't forget about us. It's like you said, Chief. We founded the Ironworks to make sure that technology was used for the right reasons, and that means making sure it's not used for the wrong ones. We wouldn't be doing our jobs if we didn't see this through to the end. Lads, well, I hope you're ready for some back-breaking chores. Well, everything seems to be in hand here, so I shall take my leave of you, for the present. If I am to witness the valiant tales unfold with my own eyes, I must hone my martial skills ere we ascend the spire. You will do nothing of the sort, Gar. Your knowledge may prove useful to Master Garland's investigation. As an observer, I am not, strictly speaking, subject to your authority. Pray do not mistake my intent, Violet. I am aware that I shall never be a match for one with your intricate talents. However hard I train, be that as it may, pray do not allow your skills to thrust from this ruse during the coming pause. We'll need you fighting fit for our subsequent forays or to prove as productive as this one. Mark me, we have not yet caught more than the briefest glimpse of that which time has obscured. Soon, however, we shall cast off the veil and gaze upon the glory of the Allegan Empire. And with that encouraging thought in mind, it's the time to bring us the assembly to a close. Let's all focus on tasks at hand, and that our next expedition may well all be the sooner. Meeting adjourned. such a terrible mess, yet it does leave the door wide open, so to speak. One, I cannot help but be impressed. I'm beginning to understand the resilience you place on adventurers, old friend. So, this is the legacy of the Allegan Empire, left behind. If my readings are correct, the energy source waiting atop the tower is a match for even the ultimate weapon. Nay, more than a match. A new toy for me to play with. Nero? I believe the fates had conspired to deny me the last rewards once again, but it would seem they had a greater destiny in mind for me. And so long as my ambition burns, I strive to seize it. The dreams lives on, Sid. Do not disappoint me. Let's talk to Rumbers again. Circus Tower. Rumpers is frustrated over Noah's lack of progress on the Crystal Tower. Ah, it is you, my friend. You are doubtless eager to hear of our progress on the Crystal Tower. Excellent. I'll be disappointed to hear otherwise, of course. Disappointed is the word of the day, I fear. I'm ashamed to say that there is nothing worthwhile to report. The Suns continue to probe the labyrinth of the ancients, and every day brings new discoveries. Alas, the same cannot be said about the Crystal Tower proper. We've not been able to set as so much as a simple foot inside. You recall how the 8 sentinels stood between us and the labyrinth initially? It's like manner, an entryway to the principal spire, Citrus Tower the Allies called it, and also protected by the technology far more advanced than our own. Sid and I have tried every trick we know, but without success. Frankly speaking, we are at a loss. It's discouraging, but we cannot give up. There must be a way in. So the situation stands, my friend. Until we can gain entry into the tower, I fear your talents shan't be avail us. It will require that time that I loathe to waste, but I have a mind to set my people to scouring such ancient texts as we have on hand. Perhaps we can be of assistance. And you are? Be at ease, friends, for we share the same goal. I am Yuri, and my companion is called Dogga. We are scholars of the Allegan civilizations and sent by the students of Baldessern to assist in your endeavor. Evelyn Noah, rather unusual names for this day and age. If I might be forgiven for observing, but I digress. You claim to be here from the students' behest, but we have received nary a word of your coming. Moreover, in light of the recent incident of the Isles of Val, I should think that they would rather be more pressing concerns. We can only assume that the message failed to reach you due to some mishap. I assure you that we are here to help. What is it, Kreia? It's nothing. There was a pain, but it has subsided. Well, this is rather unexpected. Your right eye is the same as ours. The same? You have Allegan eye as well? This is Sanku, who is said to be the trait unique to the Allegans, yet I inherited it from my father, as he did from his. Only one child in a single generation is born with the eye. All my life I have sought to learn the truth of its manifestation, and if there is aught you know, I implore you to tell me. My deepest apologies, but we have no answers for you. Only one thing is certain. Those who possess the trait are bound by fate of Allag. As your eye has placed you upon the path you walk, So too had we come here to fulfill our destiny. Absurd though it may sound, it is the truth. It seems to me we have aught to lose by accepting their aid. What do you say, you? If that is your wish, then so be it. Yet no, I still have mean to verify your story with the students of Pedestrian, when I am able. I trust there will be no objections? Very well. As of this moment, I name Yuri and the adversary members of Noah. Without further ado, let us have them examine the science tower entrance. I promise you have not have cause to regret your decision. But I should be much obliged if you were to accompany our new friends to the tower. Biggs and Wedge are presently surveying the 8 sentinels. The 2 of them can show you the way. Upon arrival, pray report to Master Garland. He will brief you on the situation. I shall join you, Violet. With your and Douglas' knowledge, along with your uncanny knack of setting events in motion, I am hopeful that we can finally see progress. Okay, so let's go. Okay, we're going the wrong way. Most definitely we are. We need to speak with Biggs. Well, if it isn't Violet, eager to enter Secret Tower and kill everything in sight? Not really. No doubt, as I am sure you already heard. Though, in the place is not up tight as a clam. New threats from students, you say? Excellent. It's a slow going, or rather, no going, for the chief. He'd appreciate the help. If you would just follow me, I'll take you to him. Ah, some old faces to lift the spirit, and a couple of new ones besides. Allow me to introduce Nia and Doga. They are scholars of ancient Alec sent here by our friends from Bedesian to aid in investigation. We understand you are having trouble circumventing the tower's defenses. It is our hope that we can be of some small assistance. If your attire is not to go by, your assistance should prove invaluable indeed. To begin with, let me tell you where we stand. Beyond rises Cirrus Tower, the principal expire of the structure collectively known as the Crystal Tower. The only way to get inside is through the probable front door. The imposing gate you see here, the problem is... we cannot get it open. It's sealed by some mechanism whose workings are utter mystery to us. Having had no success via more orthodox methods, I sent in with everything from a pickaxe to a magitech cannon. Nothing so much has put a death scratch on it. For a blessing, the gate doesn't try to reduce us to ashes like the 8 sentinels, but that doesn't make it any less effective to security measure. Its fiendish frustrates in a simplicity. The only clue we have is the elaborate device carved upon it, a man and a woman, respective, elegant royalty by my judgment. Precisely who these individuals were we cannot say, nor do we know whether the device usually serves its purpose. Like us as not, it is purely directive. If you're thinking to force it, save your strength. It's no use. Just ask the callus on my hands. Rest assured, we do not mean to waste our strength. Indeed, we should exert ourselves when the gates will open of its own accord. I don't think any of us are expecting that to happen. Seven hells, what is this? What did you do? What are you? Piercing the heavens and gathering the light, a symbol of mankind glory and might. Its virtue guarded by gates impeccable, only to those of royal blood answerable. Exactly as passed down through legend, I am dying to see. Beg pardons for interrupting your bewilderment. I couldn't help but notice the remarkable playthings you have acquired. Nero, you're still alive? Garland, if I didn't know better, I would say you weren't happy to see me. But I jest. In light of our recent meetings, you have every right to be wary. But rest assured, I am no longer a threat to you. My legion is all for all intents and purposes defunct, and my association with it means a tight noose awaits me back in Garlemont. And so I've been roaming the land of Rose a regular iterate. In the course of my wanderings, I've chanced to catch wind of your latest venture. It sounded possibly fascinating, and so I decided to come here and join you. After the wrongs you committed, you think us that gullible? If you are suspicious of my intent, it's only my just deserts, but I am determined to make amends. As a gesture of goodwill, I will share with you what I know, starting with these 2 odd characters. As you are doubtless already aware, the Crystal Tower was a symbol of ancient Alec might and prosperity, entry was permitted only to royalty and a select few individuals. According to the records I have unearthed, only royal blood can open the gate. In other words, the Emperor and his progeny were living keys. You mean to say that these 2 are descended from Alec and royalty? Oh, I suggest nothing so glamorous. But to put it plain, they are imitations of royalty, living keys born of Alec generati. Clones, I believe, is the name your creators gave your kind. Is that not so? It would seem that the time for concealment is past. Pray accept our apologies. 'Twas not our intent to deceive. We simply wish to avoid causing undue alarm and prematurely making what many would consider engaging claims. If it please you, let us return to the 8 Sentinels. There is much and more to tell. Very well. Seven Hells, do you seriously mean to follow us around? Come, Garland, you know me better than to think that I spoke in jest. What more will it take for us to reconcile? A gift, perhaps? An elegant tombstone. It holds the information I just shared with you, and a deal more besides. I used it to the jealously regarded information property of the 14th Legion, but is yours now. I wished you joy of it. I look forward to working together, old friend. Let's speak with Dogger. If you are ready to listen, we shall tell you all. As pertained closely to our investigation, your leader, Rumpers, may wish to be present. Before we begin, pray allow me to apologize again. It was not our intent to deceive you. As you will have already gathered, we are not scholars sent by the students of Bentete. Nay, we are clones, copies of people who once existed, given life through elegant technology. This is rather a lot to take in. It would not be considered unseemly, but I might ask why you and yours were created, and more specifically, why is it that you now seek to do? Answering the questions requires that we revisit elegant history. Pray bear with us. The Alec Empire reached its seventh long before our kind came into being. In the glorious age, the Crystal Tower stood tall as the symbol of Anakin pride. Parents took their children there, and they might learn how the limitless energy is produced, brought prosperity to the whole empire. The prosperity, however, bred dedication, and the empire began to show signs of stagnation. The decline was made all the more rapid for want of strong leadership. In a matter of generations, the Alec institution became a pale shadow of its former self. Its more gleaming cities fell into despair, and its frontier lands were given over to the wilderness. Lamenting the pitness of state of affairs, our technologist made it his mission to restore Alec to greatness. Amon was his name, and he believed that the ailing empire wanted for but a potent warrior, and none was more potent than its founding father, whom he sought to resurrect. The founding father? You cannot mean Emperor Zande. None other. As part of his experiments, Amon created clones of the Emperor's descendants. We are the product of that experiment. Copies of Eni and Doga. Hasidic texts mention the reigns of two elegant empires named Zande, and it was commonly believed that the second one was namesake of the first. After all, such a custom is not uncommon among royalty and commoners alike. To think that the two were in fact one and the same. Aye, Zande returned from the grave and assumed his throne once more, and true to Angun's prediction, the Emperor restored his realm to glory it once knew. Would that he could have been satisfied with that. In his previous life, the Emperor decided to bring the entire world under elegant domination. The ambition was ultimately went unfulfilled, having been granted a second chance. He was determined to succeed. Realizing that he needed more power to wage his war of conquest, Zande turned his sights towards the forbidden source, darkness, in order to learn how to harness his power. He converted the Crystal Tower into a restricted research facility. Darkness again? Seven hells. What is it with Meccan rulers turning to darkness in their lust for power? Well, at least one won't be bothering us, being thousands of years dead and all. Would that you were right, Master Garland. Alas, Emperor Zande is very much alive. Within Crystal he abides, his ambition burning all that more burning for his empire's collapse. Wielding the power of the darkness requires prodigious amounts of energy that is not even the Crystal Tower could produce. In order to augment the shortfall, Dorman was created and looked into the heavens. On high it hung, gathering the sun's energy and channeling it to the tower below. However, the miscalculation resulted in a surge of energy that escaped into the earth and triggered an earthquake of unprecedented violence, the calamity that ushered in the fourth Umbra area. In the blink of an eye, the mighty elegant empire was laid to waste. Yet, even as the Crystal Tower was sinking into earth, the technologists Amon, now Emperor Zande's closest side, invoked powerful magics and halted the flow of time. Every soul within the structure, the Emperor included, was placed in a deep slumber. In that state, they were to remain until the time was right to awaken. Eras came and went. After millennia lying dormant, Dorma was summoned back to the earth. Its descent triggered the seventh umbral calamity, in the wake of which the Crystal Tower re-emerged. At that moment, Emperor Zande reawakened. In his lust for power, the Emperor consorted with darkness and was seduced by the corrupting influence. Even though this empire is now little more than a fading memory, he will stop at nothing to see his ambition realized. "'Tis for no other purpose but to put an end to Zande's madness, and that we exist. This is the mantle we have inherited from our namesakes, the true Onion and Doga." Fearing that what might befall the world, the two of them sought to thwart their emperor. They gave unto us their will, and we might carry on their mission should they fail. When we came to our senses within the Crystal Tower, we deliberated a course of action, conducting that but we alone could not overcome Zande. We struck out to find a worthy ally, and it was taking years, but our search is finally over. 'Tis no ordinary woman who can cut a path through the labyrinth of ancients. With you as our champion, Valiant Half Moon, we are confident that we can end Zande's darkness ambition once and for all. Well, that will teach me for speaking too soon. Setting my charging aside, I see now why you knew that about the students of Bendessing along a host of other things. You were observing our investigation the whole time. So what will we do, Violet? The world in grave danger again? And it just so happens that you're an expert at saving it. You have our eternal gratitude. Together let us see the Allegan Empire's dark past laid to rest. It has been our mission to recover the long-lost knowledge of the Allegan civilization. But what worth is the knowledge if it means subjecting the realm to peril? Truth be told, it pains me to think that the Tower's secrets may become lost to us, but the greater good must ever come first. Besides, no quantity of ancient relics can compare to our friends Uni and Dugga, living beneath bequeathing elegance. And so I hereby declare a change in Noah's objective. Henceforth we shall direct all efforts towards sealing off Circus Tower. A dark secret must never know the light of day. But as you did for us within the labyrinth of ancients, I would have you enter the structure and eliminate hostile elements. Suffice to say, this includes Emperor Zanti himself. Meanwhile, the rest of us shall examine ways of isolate Circus Tower from the outside world. To work then. Wait, there is something I must know. My right eye is like yours. Does this mean? You inherit the trait from your father, you said. Know that clones are unable to bear offspring. You have no cause for concern. The Alleghina you called it, but to us it is the royal eye, owing to the fact that trait manifests only in those possessed of royal blood. I cannot explain why the eye runs in your line, but I am disinclined to think it's a coincidence. Though you are doubtless impatient to learn the truth, pray have patience and all will be revealed in due time. My apologies, if I've given you cause to worry, I'm quite well, I assure you. As you can appreciate, has been much for me to think on. But now is the time for action. No idle thoughts. Success awaits us. Your task is to eliminate all hostile elements within the structure, Santi himself included. This will afford us the chance to seal off the facility. May the crystal grant you strength.